This might be one of the most underrated sequels of all time. Now I'm going to explain why.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Toy Story 2. I think this is the most No, Cars 2 exists. This one and Cars 2 are the only Pixar sequels to come out 5 years after the original. No other Pixar movie has done anything less than 5 years, except for Toy Story and Cars. And Cars didn't do it well. Let's talk about Toy Story. So Toy Story 2 is the sequel to Toy Story, and in this movie, Woody, he gets stolen by a guy. This guy is a collector, and he has all the Roundup gang. So he has Jesse, Bullseye, Stinky Pete, and they're all put on to a shelf, and he's going to go sell them to Japan, and Woody has to make the decision. Does he want to go back to Andy or want to be in a museum in Japan? And now we have our film. Alright, actually, I'm just going to say this. I might have watched Toy Story 2 more than Toy Story 1 as a child. I don't know exactly, but when I was watching this film, I remembered a lot more about this film than I did Toy Story, which it's probably been the same length, because the last time I saw this film was most likely in my Pixar marathon, which I used to do a lot. I either did it for MU or Monsters University, or I did it for Inside Out. It could have been even earlier than that, like Cars 2 or something. But all I remember is I did a Pixar marathon once leading up to the new Pixar film. It wasn't anything like Coco, wasn't it? It might have been Finding Dory. That might be the one. Well, I did a Pixar marathon a couple years ago, and I watched this film then. So apparently the story of this film, which really kind of makes me mad, is that Disney made this originally as, one of their horrible straight-to-DVD sequels, but then they thought it was so good that they should put it in theaters, and rightfully so. I think it's funny how they're like, alright, make our straight-DVD sequel, yeah, and then they did better on the animation, better on the voice, basically better on everything. Now, that's going to make a lot of people mad, but I'll explain what I'm saying. I'm going to come out of the gate and say I don't even know which one I like more, Toy Story 1 or 2. It's been a debate into my head until a couple minutes ago when I finished Toy Story 2, because I don't really know. I think they're both great. I think they both have their own things that the other one doesn't do as well. So first off, Toy Story 2 is a phenomenal sequel. Like, this is a sequel. It's a great sequel. It takes the characters in new directions. It shows Woody questioning what he really wants, what his main goal is in the first one, which is still his goal now. It shows him questioning that. It shows him thinking, I'm going to go do this, but he doesn't know yet. There's so much development here. There's so much moving characters forward, making them learn things, and I love that. That's how to make a good sequel. This shirt is actually about beer. I don't know why I said that. Hand-me-downs. That's what all my clothes are, unless it's the Avengers shirt. That's not. Everything else is. I think one thing that this movie does a lot better than the first one is it has a lot more emotional heights. There are scenes in this film where I was like, oh, that's really sad. I never cried. I don't think this was at the point where Pixar was known to make you cry. It was like when they made Monsters, Inc., then people would be like, oh, it's so sad, and then they started to make you cry every film. And they topped it with Toy Story 3. Toy Story 2 doesn't necessarily make me cry, but it's pretty sad, and that just came up. It's like the ending is sad. The ending is actually pretty tense, but it actually does have a lot of those emotional heights that the original doesn't have. The original doesn't have many emotional heights to it. It's just a really freaking enjoyable, great movie, which I might even give that movie better than this one, and that's not because this movie is any worse. It's just because the original is a classic, and it's the first animated film. One thing I will say is, for a sequel that came out 5 years later, this animation looks great today. It's never dated. It looks real, always. Sometimes in the original I thought, okay, that looks kind of creepy. Okay, that visual's weird. But this entire movie, I thought, those visuals look great. They look good. They look real. They do not look dated at all. This movie's not dated at all, which is very impressive. If I were to nitpick one problem with this film, which I do have, is that sometimes I got a bit annoyed, like just a little bit, which is when sometimes characters will fall off of moving vehicles. A couple times in this film that actually happens. And they will look at the vehicle because they fell off, and they'll just look at it, and they won't do anything like they lost, but they really could. You get up and get on the vehicle. They do this too much in the film. Which, fine, it helps the film out, but sometimes it annoyed me. That's my only problem. Maybe that's the reason why I won't put this above the original, but god dang it is this movie good. I love Stinky Pete as the protagonist, only I'm very happy they made the decision to not put him on screen and focus on the actual interesting plot of the film, because he's not the most interesting character in this film at all. He actually doesn't have much screen time. But this is just a great sequel. It just takes the characters in new directions and develops them, brings them out, shows us new things about them. We meet new characters, we see new things. This is just how to sequel. This is how to sequel. When you make an original film that's lightning in a bottle, like Toy Story, what do? You do Toy Story 2. You make a sequel that completely captures the magic of the original. Like, this film captures all the magic of the original, traps it in a bottle, and creates something great. Now, this film doesn't have that nostalgia classic thing to back it up like the original Toy Story, so it has to be good. It has to be well written. And it has to just be better. And it does. It's as good as the original because it's better than the original. Like, right from a writing standpoint, from a character standpoint, from an emotional height standpoint, this film is better than the original. Do I like it more? I'm not sure. I freaking love this movie no matter what anybody says. This is really underrated movie. People don't give this one as much praise as they should. Everybody's like Toy Story and Toy Story 3. But I look in the middle and I say, no, Toy Story 2, that movie should stand out. I'll tell you guys whether this is my least favorite or my second favorite Toy Story film. I will put the first above this film, and that's just because the original is a classic, nostalgia, timeless film for me. And this film, yeah, it is. But I don't think this film is not as classic as the original, because that's the original animated film, which is why I'll put it above it. But easily, I'm going to give Toy Story 2 a 10 out of 10. Most people probably give this a 9 or 8, but no, freaking 10 out of 10 for me. It's perfect. It does everything right. It's a great sequel, and I highly will praise this film. And it's now one of my 5 favorite Pixar films. You can go check out my ranking of Pixar films in the description on my Letterbox. More people follow me on Letterbox because a lot of people request stuff that's already on Letterbox. Like, you can see my 68 favorite films. You can see me rank most franchises I've seen, even the ones I haven't even completed yet. You can see me rank things more. You can see if you like the ranking videos, which I canceled, then go to Letterbox because I rank franchises there because it literally takes me like 5 minutes to add all these films and rank them up, so it's not hard. Just go download the Letterbox app, or if you're on a computer, then just go to the website and make an account and follow me. So you get reviews early, and you see more cool stuff from me. What do you guys think on Toy Story 2? Let me know in the comment section below. Toy Story 3 review tomorrow. Toy Story 4 review tomorrow as well, which I'm excited for. I want to see what they do. See you guys next time. Bye.